something, I don't know about that. There was something going on, though. And it was clear to me.
My son was bored and he went to private school.
It was clear to me that I was being offered coursework that wasn't challenging.
Yes.
And at the same time, there was resistance to the notion of me going to the honors track. But my mother made the difference there. She went to the school and she insisted on it. And I have to say, there was one biology professor in particular who was very, I thought, honorable.
Yes.
He came to me at the end and he apologized.
Really?
Yeah.
This was after you had finished school?
Yeah. When I was a senior. And I'd finished through. So that's one instance that really...
So your mother had to go. So if you didn't have a mother who could go and advocate for you,
I would just be an obnoxious kid trying to argue his way into something.
Wow.
I think that's what it would have been.
Huh. And that's high school. And then, of course, then after that, your academics took you through.
Yeah, and you know, there were obstacles, but I think, you know, this idea of, you know, a wall in front of you is not a reason to sit down, it's a reason to climb.
Please say that again. Please, no, look in the camera and say that, because I think that is so, no, I'm serious. Look in the camera and say that, because that is so important.
Obstacles exist for everyone, no matter what your race or your situation. And you have a choice when you encounter an obstacle. You can either rest there, or it can be the reason for you to strive more.
Harder, yes.
And that's how I've always interpreted obstacles.
But you said a wall in front of you might be a reason to climb. It's not, doesn't mean you sit down in front of the wall and give up. It might be the reason for you to climb. And that's what we want to say to our children today, to the children born in this country, and those children, poor children, black children, Hispanic children, who feel that there are obstacles in their way, or who have been told that they cannot do something. These people were, you know, not given wealth and fame and bought their way through. They all worked to be where they are today. But we're here to say to you, it's possible. It can happen. You know, it's, I know that for myself, I never thought, I didn't know people could drop out of school. It's true.
It's true.
That's
out
true.
of school.
Yes.
You know, somebody will come looking for you.
Exactly.
Your parents will
grade, you know, because there's a point in Jamaica's education system where you decide which subjects you're going to continue to do.
Yes.
And I tried to say I didn't like geography.
Yes. Yeah. And who you're going to tell that to, right? Yes.
I tried to say that. So I dropped out of school. That's funny.
Yes, exactly. Because that option was never on the table.
No.
It was
well, you can tell your parents.
One thing, though, is I know we keep saying that we're talking to our children who may feel they're facing obstacles, but I happen to actually think we're also talking to parents. I think a lot of the problems that children do have is because of a lack of parenting. They have friends, they have buddies, you know, they have people they laugh with, talk with. They don't have people that push them, because there's this thing now that says if you push a child, it's a bad thing. Yeah. You know, they don't have expectations, and everybody gets an A for participation.
Yes, I know. Isn't that weird?
When I grew up, there was one gold.
Yes.
Right? So while I applaud effort, I think if you put out the effort to get an A and get a C, that's okay, but you can't put out effort to get a C.
Right, exactly.
So I think we have to speak to both children and parents to say that, you know, success can come in many different formats. It won't necessarily be academic, but there has to be a plan. There has to be a goal to achieve something. You have to think, okay, I want to get somewhere. And that's what's important. So, you know, you can't sit around watching Jersey Shore all the time. Yeah, you can watch it sometimes, but and times are different, yes, but the principles are not different. They're not.
And again, that theme of education being the goal, you know, of you succeeding, and because failure was not an option. One of the things Nelson Mandela said, he said, education is the most powerful weapon with which we can change the world. And many of us growing up in Jamaica, and my audience have heard me say this many times, the poem that my great-grandmother taught me And it has been taught to, I think, every Jamaican child, labor for learning before you grow old. Because learning is better than silver and gold. Silver and gold will vanish away, but a good education will never decay. That's something that I had to keep saying. Yes, and you were born here and your mother taught you that because she was also from Jamaica. Exactly. It just wasn't an option. You don't come home and say, oh, the kid, they're picking on me, therefore I'm not going to go to school tomorrow. Please, you know, it just didn't happen. You have a song that you guys have to do for me. You have to do it.
So actually, this is a song.
Okay, well, you do
So do you want us? Do you want me to say it or do you want us to sing it?
do the first verse. Do the first verse singing, and then you can say the last verse. Go ahead. One, two, three.
We're gonna sing it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, come, you guys.
We are.
Yes, start.
It was one thing to sing when cameras weren't rolling.
No, come on, forget the camera.
Okay.
Sing.
The right hand of God is writing in our land, writing with power and with love. Our conflicts and our fears, our triumphs and our tears are recorded by the right hand of God. The right hand of God is planting in our land, planting seeds of freedom, hope, and love. In these many people lands, let his children all join hands and be one with the right hand of God.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I want to, isn't it fantastic? Now that song, there are 6 verses, and we will put all of it on our website at OneWorldPI.org, so that people can you know, go to it and print it off for your children, please, and you parents too, especially those of you who have not been home for a long time. Print it off and teach them how to sing the song. We want to talk a little bit about Portia Simpson. Portia Simpson is Jamaica's Prime Minister. She was re-elected. Tell us a little about her. So here she's one of Time's 100 most impressive women, and she had served for Prime Minister for 1 year back in 2006, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this time she claimed it. She claimed it for 5 years. Okay,
Yes.
tell us a little about her.
Prime Minister Simpson-Miller is quite an inspirational woman. She has been basically in government and has spent her whole life in government since she was in her early 30s.
That's right. I remember.
Very
her when
early
she-
30s. She was a counselor.
Yep.
She was member of parliament. She's been leader of the opposition, and on December 29 won a resounding victory where she was re-elected to government. So I think just having her as a role model.
Yes.
Oh, you may not agree with all of her policies or ideas,
But you don't have to.
But you don't have to. But
Right.
having her as a role model, I think is quite important, and Time recognized that.
Yes.
You know, she
was born December 12, 1945. So she's about, what, 65? 66?
well
67.
Oh,
67.
67. Okay, she was 67 years old. And she looks, I mean, look at her. She's very regal. And, you know, she came from these people. These are the work of Jamaican artisans, this kind of woodwork. And this woman, this image represents, this carving represents a Jamaican woman who is poor, who works in the field, carries a load on her head to feed her children and clothe them, because education, again, as we say in Jamaica, is the #1 thing. Whether you're poor or wealthy, education was stressed. We also want to tell you a little about our national heroes. Jamaica has 7 national heroes. They are Sir Alexander Bustamante, Norman Manley, Marcus Garvey, which many people in this country might know about. Marcus Garvey, I believe that Michael Jackson used to look at Marcus Garvey's images where he got those regal outfits, because Marcus Garvey was a decked out guy. You know, he was really decked out. And Marcus Garvey started his career